Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello. I hope everyone can hear me okay. Bear with me a little bit. I'm still kind of learning this whole audio nonsense stuff. But yeah, thank you so much for coming by to check me out. I hope that this will be slightly interesting for everybody. But the title of the video kind of explains it. We're going to be going into like a very unscripted exploration of how I create a comic page. Comic pages for me are it's nothing really professional. This is just a hobbyist. I just like to draw art. I like to draw cats. I like to tell stories. So I put all of these three things together and I made a little bit of a process for myself. I'm not officially trained or educated, so this is more of an experiment of exploring how someone who's self-taught, who just kind of does this for fun, how they might make a process for themselves. So this is just one of many processes. So when it comes to comic creation, it's not always very strict with me, but I do have it down to several different steps. The steps are sketch, they're blue sketch, lining, color, finer detail, and background. Sometimes I approach these steps at different orders, but generally speaking, the sketch, blue sketch, and lining all go in order, so start with 1, 2, 3. And they kind of have different purposes. It's probably not anything too revolutionary or too different from what others do, but this is just kind of how I approach it. We are kind of jumping ahead a little bit, too. When it comes to comic creation, especially, like, making a piece of art is one thing, but making a comic, sometimes that can involve telling a story. It can involve multiple characters, depending on how long your comic is. I like making longer comics myself. I like telling longer stories. That's just how I am. It's not really a strength. It's kind of a weakness. I like to draw things out a lot. Pun intended. So that's kind of... I kind of end up having to make what I call the prep. I have to indulge into the prep stage of comic creation. That's what I call it anyways. Which is basically everything that comes before the actual drawing. So when you're making a comic, there are a bunch of other steps involved, like character creation, writing the story itself, making the setting and designing the setting. How does it work? What's the rules of this world? And other such things like that. There's a lot that can go into it. Sometimes you can just dive in, guns blazing, and you're fine. But when it comes to longer stories, you're much better off making an outline ahead of time. It doesn't need to be completed. It doesn't need to be super detailed. You don't need to outline all of the script for every single scene. I like making the script as I go and just kind of making the outline of events, making them very broad and vague so I can understand basically where the events of the comic are going to go. When it comes to Heritage Colony, I'm maybe only like a third of the way through the outline. It's kind of a long story. Maybe I'm approaching the halfway point. But it's an example that you don't really need to completely formulate every little thing about a comic before making it. But when it comes to the prep stage, you want to have some things. You want to have things like a character reference sheet. It doesn't need to be a perfect character reference sheet either. It just needs to be something that summarizes the design of the character, that design when it comes to the shape of the ears, their cheeks, their face, their eyes, even their hair, like the little tuft I give to Echo Freckle. And most importantly with these references is that they include colors. So I can just basically copy the colors here and also use this to remind myself how things work. Some design aspects do change and stuff. This was made very much a long time ago. This is why this art looks a little bit old. But that's kind of like the idea. We're not going to go too far into the prep stage though, because that's kind of boring. It's just writing and creating a bunch of shit, a bunch of crap, and stuff. So it's just kind of, it's just something that's very helpful to do ahead of time before you actually start committing to drawing a whole bunch of pages. But we're going to skip all of that, and we're going to dive into the actual drawing part. So the very first step for me is the sketch page. Very simple and straightforward. This comes after a bit of the prep, and part of the sketch stage also includes the writing for the dialogue. So things like this text right here, I do like to make the text first, just to kind of, you don't need to script it perfectly, but you do want to have an idea of what the characters are going to say and how much dialogue is going to be said, because you'll be surprised how little information you can actually write down inside of a comic page, especially depending on the size of your words and how your comic pages are formatted. So with comic pages, when it comes to writing the script, I have found that less is definitely more. So here we have just the simple establishment that we have a character walking into the den, and she's asking for her brother and her kittens. That's really the key points of the scene. That's really what I put down in the outline. So I wrote down what was natural, and I also kind of positioned the text in such a way that kind of works. Hi there, Ghost. Thanks for joining the stream. I hope you'll find this entertaining. But, yeah, so we want to start with the text first when it comes to the pages, and kind of get an idea of that. Writing the script can be kind of challenging, depends on your process with that. But always put in the text first so you kind of know where the position of the characters will go, and such like that. Now, when it comes to the actual drawing part, the sketch stage is really, really very simple. It's more focused on anatomy and positioning of the characters, so I just want to know kind of the general idea of where her head will go and what the key points of the frame is. So what I call key points, something I just made up, it's not a real thing, but a key points is kind of like the most eye-popping thing that'll come out of your comic page. So the thing that the readers will immediately look toward. So if you have a very action-oriented page where, let's say, a cat is going to pounce on a piece of prey, that's very action-oriented. You obviously want the major part of the frame to feature that cat diving down onto that prey. That's the key frame, a very easy key point that you can kind of point out. Some pages are really more boring than that. Some pages you just have characters talking. So when you have dialogue being put out and simple actions like the act of walking into a den happening, then your key frame, your key point is really going to be the expression of the character and however you want to display the action of a character moving. For me, I chose to have Echo Freckle, and this is the Echo right here. I chose to have her kind of walking in, so I chose to focus on both her expression right here at this top, near the center of the page, as well as her paw moving along right here, near the center of the page again. I also wanted to have a little hint of Cobalt. That's going to be the new character introduced in this page here. And I'm just kind of more focused on a partial reveal, not a full reveal yet. So that's kind of the idea where I thought about where I want to position the characters and what the key point of the page is. It's not always going to look fantastic, it's not always going to look perfect, but the sketch process is important just for positioning where you want the anatomy to go. Now the second step is what I call blue sketch. I only call it blue sketch because I just use blue outlines, blue color and I use a blue color and a pencil just to kind of outline where the characters will go. This is where I focus more on the important details. I don't try to make it look perfect. I try to give the general outline of where everything will go, where the face, body, shape will go. And I try to give more focus on what the details will be. Here with this blue sketch, again, I focused more on giving myself a guideline, like an outline for me to follow. Since Echo Freckle has kind of an expression that I wanted to convey, something that wasn't very obvious, this is kind of where I focused more on the outline of her face. There are landscapers outside. I hope y'all aren't hearing that. Anyways, so I focused more on the outline of her eyes, so I know where the eyelids will kind of go, what the general shape should look like, where her muzzle will go, her snout, as well as her mouth. This is kind of helping me to decide, and during the lining process, where everything goes, as well as lining her paw. Again, it doesn't have to look perfect, it doesn't have to look beautiful. It's more for you, the artist, to kind of use as a guideline. And I like using this blue sketch stage. It's just kind of fun. It's less pressure. You can just enjoy it, so to speak. So, next, after the blue sketch, we also have a little bit of detail here with his eyes. After the blue sketch, we start, obviously, with the lines. Lines are kind of where the pressure is on. You do want this to look good. You want this to look kind of eye-popping, kind of getting the viewer's attention. In my opinion, if it looks good as line art before the coloring, then I have succeeded. But this is where, wow, again with the fucking landscaping outside. But yeah, this is kind of most challenging stage for me. It's not always going to look perfect, especially when you kind of look closer at it. But this is where, the magic happens. You just follow the guidelines that you set out for yourself with the sketches, and just kind of let the magic happen. And after the lines, we then obviously have the colors. Colors can actually be kind of easy for me, mostly because I make reference sheets ahead of time. So when I have this already drawn out, I can just copy this color, and then just go to the lines here and select that and go ahead and add a whole bunch of color. So I can kind of plop it in there really easily. The coloring stage is where I sometimes attempt shading. Again, I'm an amateur. I do this as a hobby. I do this for fun. I'm not a professional. So usually I just kind of skip the shading part, especially because I haven't really figured out the shading for these characters yet. Especially for Echo Freckle. For some reason, her shading is really awkward. It's really difficult. But yeah, we have the sketch, we have the blue sketch, and we have the lining. Next we have finer details, which is just adding things like action lines. So whenever characters are moving, sometimes you want to draw squiggly lines to convey that movement. And you got other things like double checking for any markings. That's something that I kind of do a lot. I tend to forget Echo Freckle's actual freckles on her face. That's something I tend to forget a lot. And yeah, reference sheets, again, are super helpful. They help, remember details like this. And, they don't always have to be perfect, especially because these references are for you. So, for me, when it comes to these kind of references, I mostly use them to recreate colors. I can remember the general shape and idea of the design of the characters, especially because I let the design of the characters evolve as pages progress. A lot of times, as you age, as you grow, your hair grows, your style grows, you wear different clothes. And I think that kind of logic can apply to cats on a low basis or something like that. So over time, her hair bun might get bigger, might get smaller, might get rid of it entirely, who knows. But the colors themselves is really where I kind of try to use this as a reference. Again, copy-paste, it's really useful. With comic creation, any little tricks like that to make the process easier and smoother and quicker, that would be great. That would save you, the artist, so much time. I just bumped my mic. Gotta be careful about that. Anyways, so finer details. They will include things like the bubble for the actual text. This is where you finalize your text, your dialogue and stuff. You just use older comic pages for color references, which can be annoying sometimes. Yes, that's a great point, Ghost. Using older pages for references is a great idea. Stuff like this, that's something that I do a lot, and especially for newer characters that have just been introduced, like these kittens. I went back to this page in particular a lot, because it's surprisingly made for a very good reference. But like you said, it can be annoying sometimes because you gotta pull up the right page, and depending on how you draw your pages, if you have like a lot of shading, a lot of unique designs or something like that, I see a lot of really talented artists out there who do have lots of different shadings and themes and color motifs for different chapters, and the characters all look the same. They have their base colors, but they're washed in different shades of light, and it's beautiful. But it can make, the colors change a little bit. That's why flat character references sometimes can be really useful, because you know what the flat color is, and you can work from there. So it depends on, it's a trade-off on how much time you want to save and how much simplicity you want to do. If you want to have a page look really beautiful, sometimes that page can have a lot of extra work to it. For me, I try to simplify the process, especially because I'm doing this as a hobby. So the simplified process just means flat colors. Sometimes I do shading. It really depends on if I feel like it. I've been getting better at it, but it is what it is. But again, the finer details include the bubbles, we're finalizing the text, we're adding the border as well. Sometimes you want to add like little censor things like that. I call them censors. Just like a little tag for your artist name. Not everyone does that, but sometimes I do that. So we've got the text, action lines. I don't think there's anything else missing. So after the finer details, the very last step for me, and sometimes it doesn't come last. Sometimes this comes earlier in the process, but the last step for me is background. Depending on the setting and the placement, it can vary. Right now, at the beginning of this chapter for Heritage Colony, it's really simple backgrounds. They are just inside of a cat den that is they're beneath the earth. They're in the earth underneath the roots of a tree. So they're just in a den. There's not really much of a background here, and I don't really feel the need to add more detail. If you like, you can do things that are more experimental and more unique, like adding different colored backgrounds to convey emotions. Here we go, like this, for instance. Again, the background is simple, but I did choose this step to add extra details, like this purring from Echo Freckle, the color that emanates from her, just to convey that she's really happy. She and the kittens are reunited. It's just simple mother-kitten happiness. So sometimes simple colors like that can really make a page pop more than you'd think it would. I'm learning to do that a lot more. I'm not really the person to talk about it, but it is kind of a little trick that you can do. But that's about it. That's just the steps. Now we just do the final check. We make sure that everything is good to go. Make sure there's no details that aren't sticking out that shouldn't be there. Make sure we fix anything. And this is just when I admire my work and I decide, do I like this or not? Do I want to change anything? Do I want to repurpose this? When it comes to comic pages, especially for longer stories, I try not to dwell too much on making the pages. I try not to make them too perfect. If I have to remake a panel for a comic page more than twice, then that's when I just kind of stop and I just let it be imperfect. If it doesn't look right, sometimes just kind of accept it and maybe learn from it and just continue moving forward. Because if you get stuck on one page for too long, then you're just never going to move forward. You're never going to advance. As you make more pages, you'll improve in your skill. You'll gain more confidence, and you'll get a better idea of what you want to do. So just don't get too stuck on pages. If it's too frustrating, if it's too much, then just let it be imperfect. Let it showcase that you're learning and you're growing as an artist. And I think that's really it. I thought it'd be a little bit longer, but that's really all I have when it comes to the stages of comic creation. We start with sketch, then we start with blue sketch, then we do line art, and then we do colors, and then the backgrounds and finer details. It doesn't need to be in any particular order, but sometimes it does help to approach things systematically. Again, depends on the person. I'm forgetful. I will forget very important things and steps, so having organization keeps me grounded. So now that I've rambled on about that, let's and see if I can put my money where my mouth is and actually do a page here. So here I've already gotten to the line art stage where I'm sort of making the line art for every character here. But let's just explore this step by step. So first step is gonna be the sketch stage, and that is, again, we're gonna start with dialogue. This page is really simple and straightforward. I might not even need any dialogue. I might even just leave this as expressions alone. That's something I can decide later at the finer detail stage, or even something I can decide later in like a day or two. Sometimes if you just make a page and then leave it and come back in a few hours or the next day, then you have a better idea of what you want to do with it. So this is the sketch stage, and like I said, it's pretty simple. I focus more on anatomy. I did sketch out the faces here in this step because I just felt that this page was so important in terms of expressions, because it is important. This is a dad who's seeing his kittens for the very first time. I'm not always very great at expressions, so I really want to take on the challenge of conveying the shock and emotions that go through him in that kind of scene. So I kind of sketched out and I jumped a little bit forward, but we have the basic sketch stage. I'll misspell that word really badly. And then we have the blue sketch stage. Let me rename that. Again, I just call it blue sketch because I use a blue coloring. But here we have more detail, more focus on everything. I just really want it to look right. I want it to look like, I want it to really convey the vision that I was kind of having. So, the important step, again, is really just Gray's expression and her right here. So it's not so much her expression as her just existence. So whatever she looks like is fine. Her expression, I kind of worked through different versions. Like here she was smiling. Here I'm thinking I'm gonna make her more curious. Like she's not excited about meeting this stranger cat. She doesn't know who he is, and she's also kind of a baby. So she's looking at him with curiosity. He's looking at her with absolute shock. And we have these sketches of the paws. And of course, this panel, these two panels here, the focus really is on his trembling and his movement. It's going to convey kind of shaky, soft movement. I didn't really convey that though. Let's add that detail while we're talking about it. So, kind of like that little shaky shakes to show that he's kind of like, holy shit, it's my child. And we have little action lines here, and a little line here to convey it's a different border. That kind of tells me everything. Round, happy pupils or thin, sharp pupils for the dad? That's a good question. Like, that is a good question. I haven't honestly decided. So I could have him have, like, holy crap, thin shock pupils like this. Or I can have it like that. Huh. This is where the stages of sketching really does help out, because I can really get an idea of exactly what I want to see here. Now, he's looking slightly downward. Looks a little bit awkward. This is where you kind of look and you make the judgment call. For me, I think that the small shock, the pinprick eye pupils, I think it looks a little hostile. I think giant eyes might be better for him. We'll see how the coloring stages come in, because the eyes for me come in during the coloring stages, which is pretty challenging. But for me, so far, in terms of sketches, I'm thinking big eyes. Big old eyes. He needs a nose. What happened to your nose, buddy? And your mouth is like slightly. You know what? I'm just gonna stop sketching here. So we're already at the line stage. Now let's go to the line stage. Kind of okay with it, I think. I'm not hugely in love with this. Something about the mouth has never quite come out right for me. I want his jaw to be kind of dropping, but it might need to be a slightly different angle. I might need to decide during the coloring stage. That's what I'll do. I'm gonna decide during the coloring stage what I need to fix with him, because he doesn't look quite right yet. It might look better with the actual eyes, though. Shine looks okay. Her back paw is kind of looking grody. What happened here? What happened to your footsie? Let's see if I can just cheat a little bit. Like that. Like that. Yeah. Perhaps. I always have a lot of trouble making the kittens. Unhinged jaw. Yeah, just let that go flying down to the floor. This paw is a little too big now. This is where the sketching, if I had done the sketching a little bit better, it would be easier, but I was very vague about that. There we go. I might need to make it more twiggy. More twig paws instead of big paws. It's not terrible, though. Unhinged jaw. It looks way off the more I look at it. I can't decide. Let's try this. See, he doesn't look as shocked now when I do it like that. Looks more gentle surprise. Oops. That's not what I meant to do. That's okay, not what I meant to do. Here we go. There we go. Can't see anything. Move the beard. Yeah, the beard might need some work. The beard is kind of screwing me up. A little bit too big, maybe. It's not too bad. Could definitely be a little bit better. Get rid of that. And this. Alright, and then if I tilt it back a little bit the way it was, and perhaps shrink it. Man, Gray Spots, what happened to your design? He's one of the cats that I don't enjoy drawing, honestly, which is a shame, because he's kind of an important character. It's gotten to a point where I'm thinking I'm gonna redesign him just a little bit. Not a huge amount. I won't change his colors. But I'm thinking he might get a haircut at some point. Just a haircut. Because he's kind of got the generic head fluff right now. And I like it fine. Because generic head fluff is just like generic. And it's a cat that hasn't styled his hair, and that's fine. But I'm thinking he's gonna style it at some point. And now the nose needs to move? Ugh. Maybe the nose needs to be closer to the mouth. I think that's better. I think that's as good as I'm gonna get it for now. And as for shine, I'm gonna just cheat. Oops. I'm gonna just cheat. Scooch her on back over here. And Echo can be scooched. No, not you. Scooch her as well. There. That's a nice trick too. If some parts don't look right, just scooch them out of the way. It's fine. Just scooch them. Scooch them all day. Now he has a surprise face. He does, don't he? I'm gonna fix his face during the coloring phase, because I think his eyes might help me a lot. Here we go. Then, gray spots might just never look perfect on this page, which is a shame. I might remake his face. I can remake a face, it's fine. Alright, now let's try these. These should be easier. Legs. Legs. Leg. Now, do I have a border? Yeah, I made the border ahead of time here, just so I can have a better idea of where everything is. It's again an example of how, like, the steps of comic creation doesn't have to be perfect. Alright, let's see. One moment, I'm thinking. Little too big. Here we go. There we go. So he's kind of like on his tippy toes a little bit. So it's not perfectly flat. And these cats have longer, bigger thumb-like appendages that I really don't draw that well. But we'll just put that there and leave it. It's like a little curve right here. Squish up these lines. There we go. Straighten this out a little bit. Make it look nicer. There. There we go. Clean it up. I like drawing paws. I might not be like the best at them, but I still like drawing them. They're cute. I like soft paws. Soft eyes. Soft things give me comfort. And comfort is fun to draw for me. I envy the artists that enjoy drawing, like, action and stuff. I can't do that. I'm not good at that yet. I'll get there, though. We all get there. In time. And now, let's make the paws first. Yeah, like this. These are always the most awkward to do, forward facing. Like that. Yeah. Very Lion King like. There we go. There we go. Alright. And this one, like that. Your trick to non-flat paws is drawing grass around the paw sand. Oh yeah! That's a good idea. adding grass and stuff like that, that really does do a great job of creating that illusion. It can also be useful for straight up hiding details. So yeah, that's a good shout out. Use your backgrounds to your advantage. That's also probably a scenario in which I'd probably draw a background a little, well, I'd probably draw that detail afterwards. But I would like in a general idea of the background to know like how much grass and stuff. I like that note. Thank you for sharing that. Alright, now here's the more challenging paw. So sometimes this angle gets me, but I really love seeing this angle in comics, and I want to have it in mind. Almost. Yeah. Let's get rid of the sketches. That looks alright. I might need to really fix these lines, though. And in fact, let's try using this lines as a guide and see if I can make something much more natural looking. So we have the paw coming down here, and like so, with one digit coming out, kind of like right here. And then we have middle digit coming out, and this digit coming out, and finally this digit. So with all of those involved, can we make this look natural? So this one's behind that one, so get rid of that. Get rid of this line. Might not look natural yet, but we're getting there. Trial and error. And then we need to fix this to be more curved. Ah, it's getting there. Now if we go like this, more curvy at the top. And then one more curve. There. That might be good enough. Doesn't have to look flawless, but it does kind of have to please me. And this might just please me. Get rid of this corner if I can. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah. All right. We're doing good. We're doing good. I think that's good enough. Alright, now we do the other one. Legs. I kind of want it to look the same as the other one, but I really don't want to copy and paste it. I might copy and paste it. No, no. Maybe not. There is a tool you can use in Clip Studio that'll like morph and transform things, but I really want to see if I can just do it without that. Just because I'm stubborn. Looks alright. Very good. This bugs me. This could just be slotted in if technology were there. And yeah. Slot that in. Boom. You use Krita? I have not heard of Krita before. I'm gonna look that up right now, because I'm curious. Ooh. It looks cool. Oh, art tools too. Awesome, dude. That looks good. Of course, I wouldn't know entirely, but I'm glad you used something that you... I hope you like it. Do you like Krita? I hope you do. You should use things that you like. Be pleased with life and whatnot. That paw doesn't look quite right. I'm thinking that it can be a little bit smaller. It's fine. Cool. For a free, it looks like a free program, so it's like, for a free program, you probably have it alright. Clip Studio is definitely not free. And I don't know if I'd consider it worth it, but depending on how often you draw, I think it's pretty worth it. Only had to work a couple hours of overtime to get it. I do want to upgrade too, which is, I don't know if I'll be able to do that. Yeah, see, it is free. Alright, cool. When I used free programs, that was a while ago. I have not used a free program in a while, but the last free program I've used was Metabang, I think. I hear some people still use that, which is awesome. As long as there are layers and different pens, I mean, you can't go too wrong, really. Alright. I think that's alright. The back paw, honestly, might need some work. A little bit of tweaking. How about right here? Yeah. Here we go. Oh my. Yeah, layers are just the hugest lifesaver. I don't know what I would do without them. And to make pages with no layers, you know, bravo. The fact that you pulled that off at all is impressive. Even if it does, like, even if the difference in quality does show a bit, I can understand that a bit. I uploaded a traditional comic a couple of days ago that was like all on paper, and then I scanned it on mine, and man, it's tough. It looks awkward as heck and everything. Like it's tough to do that all in one layer and stuff with like no guides or anything. I can't imagine doing that all the time. I can't imagine doing that with animation. How did classic animators pull it off? They're wizards. They're just wizards. Alright, now let's start with experimenting with colors because I need to use the colors to help me figure out Gray's whole deal. So, no. Boom. Damn. It doesn't work like that. Fine. Border. Gray. If you put the layers all in one folder, and then you use this, what is this tool even called? The auto select tool. You put the layers in the same folder and select the folder and use the auto select tool. It'll include all the lines together. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I figured it out. Now brace yourself. I'm gonna have to open a really, really old, ugly reference picture for gray spots. Ew, it's so old and ugly. Ugh. What are you posing like that for? Ugh. Nope, not that one. Alright, so we have his colors coming in. Just gonna fill this all in. Now, let me look at some older pages with him. One second, bringing him up. Here. Here and here. Skunk. It does kind of look like a skunk, don't he? Skunk. You know, I've never actually made that comparison. I like that skunk comparison. It kind of works for him. And we don't really have anything else to do here. Now let me actually make his eyes, because I feel like the eyes got kind of messed up. Because they're supposed to be kind of round. I kind of forgot what shape of eyes he had and gave him new shapes over and over again. Usually I'm pretty good at the eye shapes, but with gray spots, his design is more fluid than I'd like. Okay, so let's get rid of the color. Let's make this slightly see-through. Let's open up the sketch so I know where the eyes were supposed to go. I should have included that one actually, so. Oh, these circles are killing me. Of course I made the perfect one as I said that. I don't know if I'm keeping this circle for his eye, but I might. It might be enough. Circle, circle, dot, dot, circle, circle, dot, dot. Let's make a copy and put it here. Do the cheap strategy. And this is where we might decide on the types of eyes, because I am still not sure. Wow, that looks a little too perfect. Oh. Circle, circle, dot, dot, circle, circle, dot, dot. Alright, I'm trying to be lazy. Sketchy eye bags help a lot. Probably do, yeah. I just really think I struggle specifically with gray spots. I'm not entirely sure why. It's kind of got that generic style going on. I don't like him. I mean, I like him, but... Let's see if I can maybe just work on the color of the eyes and see if that'll just do enough for me. Down. Here we go. And then this. And here is the decision. Giant eye. Man, he looks so dorky. Probably not going to keep this. I'm just completing it for the sake of just seeing what happens. Just a little bit of growth. Now we'll do a gray line. Color. Erase. Yeah, that might work. I need to add a little bit more detail around the eyes. See if I can get like a shape going on here instead of just eyes. not great at eye bags. Ah. I say that, and this is not perfect, but it'll be enough for now. Can't even see the detail when you zoom out, but that's alright. It's more for me. Let's give him his nose. Sometimes I forget about his nose. Tired dad vibes. He just became a dad. He's already tired. He's a natural. Oh, I know what to do. I can add shock lines. Let's see if I can pull it off. Sometimes I don't do it very well. I might do it like this. No. This might come with the action line stage. Yeah, it might come with action line stage. I'll leave those there for now, though. I want to also experiment. Is this gonna look good? It doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look great. Or how about this? I think it looks a little bit better with just that line there. Yeah, kinda like that. His eyes are kinda tiny, aren't they? And now they're too close. No, 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 no. That's not what I meant to do. Good enough! It's good enough! It has been... The point has been accomplished. God, gray spots, what's wrong with you? So this is my message to improve at shock faces. And maybe figure out what's my problem with gray spots a little bit. Just a little bit. But I'm gonna just kind of accept it as is. I'm gonna color this the simple old-fashioned way of doing it manually. Oh, I should probably actually fix the lines in here. So tiny. No one's gonna even notice these details. But I will. And I love them. Yeah. Ah, my beautiful tired dad. This is where using prior pages kind of comes in handy. Again, prep would help. I could probably save these colors for the mouth and stuff, but nah, I'll just open up previous pages and lift it from the characters. It's fine. I want this to be more magenta and dark. Like that. It's no difference at all. Gosh dang it. There. Better. trying to experiment with gums. You just used to bucket fill, but it left too many spaces black, so I just color stuff in now. Yeah, coloring can be interesting. Because, like, this select tool, auto-select? This auto-select is nice and all, but it doesn't, like, color in the actual spaces behind the lines, and sometimes, like you said, that leaves black spaces. So, sometimes it's just good to color it in yourself, or whatever, what have you. You know what? That doesn't look right. This needs to be a bit bigger. Now, I wonder if we can do a trick here. Alright. Like so. And is this where I can just... yeah, I can just do that. Alright. Upper fangs. I was thinking about that, but I think the lip is dropping too low to kind of show them. Like, it's supposed to be a jaw drop kind of thing. But it might not come out correct. I might just have to do the upper fangs, like you say. In this case, the upper fangs are supposed to be obscured. But it's not coming out the way I had envisioned. I'm gonna add his details before I forget about them. And what was the other one like? Ah. Oh shit, I was doing it on the wrong layer. There we go. Gosh, these details are annoying. And then, which direction was it? Inside. Alright, so this way, and this way. There we are. doing it. It's making progress. Maybe I can even upload a page soon. There's gonna be a lot of it, actually. Never mind. I'll make progress. Progress is being made. Okay, let's see. Echo, where's Echo? Here she is. And let's also do this where I can make it easier on myself to draw the line. Echo. Yeah, I'm working on the tail. Trying to get it just right. 'Cause she's kind of at an angle where her legs are like right here. The perspective is kind of wonky. So focus on the key point of the tail. There. That might be good enough. Echo is really the background of that scene, so it's more shine that I have to work on. So I don't want to dwell too much on Echo. She's just kind of the platform for her child. At least in this panel. Here we go. Damn. What happened there? Yeah. Alright. That's alright. Now, how does Shine look? She's alright. Shiny, 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 shiny. Looking good. Looking good. Looking satisfying and good. Let's take a drink of water and a stretch break. It's been an hour. Let's do a stretch break. Up and at 'em, everyone! Move your limbs if you can. My rabbit's joining me. He's running around. Alright. Stretch break has been completed. Remember to move yourself. Yes, rabbit! I have a pet rabbit. His name is Summer. He's a old foster animal. I was supposed to foster him, but then I just decided to keep him, so I guess he's technically a foster fail. But yeah, his name is Summer, like the season. I did not name him. I like his name, though. He's a little jerk, but he's also really cute. I'd like to get here. Let me actually get a piece of art I made of him. Let's see. There. Summer. Where is the photo? Here is the photo of my Summer and my cat. The cat's name is Pastel. I love them both. They're the best. They're the light of my life. Love them so much, as I do Summer. And then Pastel. I love them both. They're the best. Yeah, I'm a big fan of animals in general. They're great. Just love them. I'm gonna send a heart. Heart, heart, heart. Alright. Stretch break is completed. The lines look fine. I don't know if I would say I'm completely happy with the shine, but I also don't really know what else I want to bother with her. She's pretty good. Oh, my other cat is trying to get on my lap. Come here. They are all welcome on my lap. Alright. Maybe he can help advise. Or he can just move around a lot and distract me. That's fine too. You gotta rub me. Oh, you're cool, king cat. Alright. Is her ear a little too big? It might be a little too big. I've never been great at kittens. They say you gotta make kittens, like, have big eyes and paws and stuff, but when I do that, they don't look right. I think maybe because I always do that anyways. Big eyes and paws. I like those features. Nope, no, not like that. Like this. Please, cat. Ugh. Oh, he's purring. He's doing the purrs. What a cute cat. Alright, got more line fixing to do. Shine's looking good. I'm gonna save my work. Remember to save periodically. Constantly. Always. Kittens usually have huge ears. Alright. Alright, that makes sense too. Shine. Maybe if I try... Oh my gosh, again, I did it again. If I try this, if I extend this just a little bit. And it's true, when I think back to like the kittens, they do have giant freaking ears. Big old eggy ears. Alright, and then we do this. This cat is like demanding I pet him instead of draw. It's quite annoying. Here we go. I don't just have to do. I have to stop overthinking this. I think, you know, in general, this whole thing can just go here, and there, boom, like so. Maybe even right here. Kind of a big cheek, though. I don't like that. Let's see. Oranges? Oh, interesting. Oh, you miss him? Oh, yeah, he's not around anymore. He sounds adorable. Big ol' ears. Animals really take a special place in our hearts. Let me just enunciate this detail here. Ah, he's with family in another country. Got it. I hope they're taking good care of him then. Sometimes that does happen. I've got another cat, that I raised as a kitten. I couldn't take her with me. I had to choose between 2 out of 3 cats, and I had a home for her, thankfully, and I get updates every now and then. She's living with, like, a close friend of mine. Man, it's not the same. You're happy that they're taken care of, but man, I'm grateful for the kitties I've got, I guess, and the rabbit. I just couldn't take 3. Couldn't take 3 cats. I went a little bit crazy when I was fostering cats for a while. Once a week pictures, oh, that's so nice. Oh. I hope they're the cutest pictures. Oh, of course they're the cutest. He's an adorable cat. Aww. There we go. She's looking pretty snifty. And doing it like so. Oh man, these paws look so adorably tiny. I don't know if tiny paws are the way to go for babies, but I don't know. I think it works. Ooh. One moment, please. Let's see. I think it looks good. I think it's fine. Anyway, I think we're good to go. I'm gonna start adding the colors. So, shine. Echo. What is this? It's his eyes. I see. Gray eyes. Alright. I think I can just grab shine all at once. Yes, I can. Fantastic. Alright. I'm gonna give her a different color. A layer. Now let's see. Zoom in. I don't want to reveal her adult form, but I guess it wouldn't matter. Let's see. Put that's the wrong color that I just grabbed. And then this here. Ah, she's so pretty. Oh, thank goodness the cat finally settled down and is napping. Good. He can be a restless cat. Maybe I need to play with him more often. Alright. Let's do this. Ba-dum. And then fix this line here, because I don't like that. Yay. Perfection. There we go. Alright, alright. More progress being made. We're doing good. Oh, nope. I realized I was coloring in the wrong... Oh, no, I wasn't coloring here. I was just erasing. Perfect, okay. Sometimes I put the color in the wrong layer and there's just so many layers. I can only do so much. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. Alright, our colors here. Like so, just a nice, simple... So, I kind of learned when it came to designing characters by this point. By the time I reached the kittens, I kind of was prioritizing interesting designs, but simple, easy to recreate. For the Shine and Lumen are probably the most complicated. Really, Lumen is the most complicated one, and he's pretty forgiving. But Shine has a distinct pattern, and it comes in threes. I like doing things in threes. One, two, and then the third is out of frame. So that's just it really. And then I think there was actually more. Yeah, there was little spots inside in between. Right here. Perfect. I'm not great at character design. I wish I was a little bit better. I'm not terrible, but I've seen some character designs out there that are just freaking gorgeous. Most of yours, actually. But I'm trying to get a little bit better, trying to make them look nicer, and they always just kind of come out too blue. I don't know why. They just do. But I'll just accept it and learn as I go. She doesn't look half bad. Now, is there anything else? I don't think there is. She has a red nose, just like her papa. Red color like her papa, but shaped like her mama's nose. I like making those mix of traits that descended from the parents. Now, let's check back here. So, nothing else to go with, so I just need to do her eyes. I could actually see these being more back here. Pating, patong, 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 patong. There. That might work. Now let's add the lines back in. Like so. Thin it out just a little bit. Nice. Good adjustment. And then we just go inside here. I don't mind putting her eyes in the same layer as general colors. Ba-da-boo. I'm gonna just take his eyes. What you looking at? Oh. I sense a stranger in my midst. I must investigate. That's what I imagine she's thinking. Ah, she looks pretty. Dang. I like this. Kind of looks different than here. I think she's more scotchy, or more circular, more circles. This is more sharp angles because of the eyes, I think. I made the eyes much too sharp. I might fix that. Ooh, drop my pen. There it is. Alright. Let's fix this, because I think I can, without messing things up too much. These are more like adult eyes. I want more childish, softer, rounder eyes. It's not going to be too hard to fix it from here. Has her mother's little eye triangle. Alright, we fixed it. That was easy. That's alright, yeah. A little too bold. I should watch out on that in the future. Oh, not that. The eyes seem a little too thick. I don't want to mess with that too much, though. I think that's fine. Now let's try add in Echo's colors. Kind of feels like I'm gonna bring these two things together a little bit. Yeah. And then her tail. And yeah. Let's add this in here. Get rid of that. There we go. Shines right here, here, and may as well just get rid of this. I think I want to add to her expression right about here. Just a little touch of detail right here. Yes, I like it. This next part should actually be quite easy. Let's see here. Oops. I need legs. Alright, and now this first. Ah, shit, I lost it. There we go. So this first, just to kind of add the general idea. And then we want, not you. Oh, crap. And air spray. There. Easy. And now, the very lazy background that I will add. Let's do floors. Oh no, maybe just the walls first. Doesn't really matter. Oh no, not that. We need this to be here. Your backgrounds are horrible. Honestly, mine are not great either. Backgrounds are tough. And I mean, I can't really speak for everybody, but in terms of how I feel about, comics that I read, I don't pay that much attention to the backgrounds, honestly. If they're really good looking, then I'll marvel at them. But I find that you can get away with really simple backgrounds, honestly. It's not that tough. Like this. I'm just kind of adding basic lines. It's really no background to this whatsoever. All right, so that's it. That's my background. Just colors. Just throw colors in the back and it'll be fine. Let's see. What else do I want to add? So it's not the most perfect page that I could have ever made. I don't fully care for the eyes. But I think that's probably as good as someone like me is gonna make it. Does his head look too small? You're sketching a new page for Monday? Yay! Enjoy that sketching process. No pressure. It's for you. It's fun. It's awesome. It's about to be my lunchtime, actually. I don't know what to eat. Food. First, let's finish this page. Oh yeah, speech bubbles. Thanks for pointing that out. Alright, now it's time for the finer details, which means speech bubbles, action lines, making sure everything looks okay. I forgot there's even dialogue here. Let's see. I don't have it here. I need to get the actual color of his, dialogue. And this is old as heck. There we go. It's a good page for references, though. Alright. Well, that's the wrong one. Speech bubbles. So, this is him thinking instead of actually speaking. This is actually the first time I've had a character thoughts out for the audience to read. So, let's make it bubbly, I guess. Doesn't really have to be too outlandish. This is good enough. And then smaller bubble. Smaller bubble. There. That looks fine. You upload your page on Canvas for the speech bubbles? Alright, that's fair. The Clip Studio, as good as it is, it doesn't have a whole lot of, like, text options or anything like that. It's kind of annoying. It's not very good at that. It's not awful either. I just kind of live with it because I'm too lazy to upload it on another, like, program or anything. I'm just a lazy person. Oh, I've almost forgot Gray Spots is spots. Details. Finer details. This is not helping. This will just have to do. Krita has terrible tech stuff. I see. I see. Yeah, I guess that's, you don't get everything with the free program. But it's not a big deal to upload it to another thing, at least. I hear a lot of people do that. Even with, like, legitimate, like, people who use Photoshop and stuff, they'll use, like, different programs and stuff instead. So it's not even, like, a free program thing. It's just some programs have better text options than others. I know that Clip Studio is kind of one of them. There's one on there. Kind of forgot how he looks, not gonna lie. He doesn't really have any on his shoulders. It's more under his shoulders that he has another spot. Like right here. Thick spots. There we go. It's good enough. I try not to sweat his spots too much. Even though that is his name. But it's fine. Now for action lines. I tend to forget about action lines, but sometimes they can really be helpful. I don't really have a distinct action line style yet. I haven't really figured out what works for me, but I find that white is usually the way to go. There. It's a little bit too swift. There we go. It's kind of good. Yeah. I like it. I might even do an extra detail where this back leg is actually blurry because it's in the background. I have no need to do that, but I'm going to do it this one time. It needs a little bit more of a blur. Love the action lines. Thank you. They actually are pretty decent. It's nice and subtle, but they work. Alright, and now for tagline. Don't forget your tags. Your artist signature, your handle, whatever they are. Sometimes I forget that. I call it censors. I can't even see them on most of my pages. Let's see. Yeah, put it on her butt. It's the only place where you can actually see it. There. You don't really have tags. Yeah, you don't really need them. I don't even think my tag is very good. But, yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to have a tag. Especially, I think for comic pages it's one thing. I don't think it matters too much with comic pages. But when it comes to, like, memes or shitposts or anything that might just get reblogged on the internet, you probably want to put, like, a signature down just so people that reposted, like, they can see the name, and on the off chance, they might just come and track you down. I did that once with one comic creator who made, like, a little joke about a cat debating whether to be wild or be a house cat. It was a funny little comedic joke, and the artist signed their name on it. So I mean, it works. My tag is definitely not good, but This is just what I've been using, and I don't know, I don't feel like changing it. But it is something I've noticed artists do, and you might benefit from such a thing. Who knows? It might not hurt, especially if they're tiny. There, he's got a tattoo on his chest now. Nice and subtle. I know that some artists that like get popular and also draw like fan art, they will put their tag like big and like with symbols on it and kind of make it hard to remove the tag, basically. So it depends on your popularity too, because a really popular artist, they get stolen, they get plagiarized a lot. So having those tags helped with that. I'm just doing it for fun because I think it looks cool. Alright, and I think I'm satisfied with this page. So it is lunchtime. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here. Just letting y'all know, just remember to stretch, remember to move, remember to kind of keep moving and be active. I know we're all sitting down a lot, but drink your water, have your snacks, etc. And thank you all for so much for joining the stream. I hope that you enjoyed it. You're a nobody. I'm a nobody too. Let's be nobodies together. I appreciate the fellow nobodies. But bye. Have a good one. Thanks for joining.